So there are no demons and Satan is still in heaven.
I need to make sure that everyone understands exactly what a demon is and what a demon is not.
When you hear something weird, sometimes you just want to go back and investigate it because maybe you didn't hear them right. Maybe they're trying to explain it in a kind of in a profound way, trying to be deep. Sometimes you just want to go back and investigate for yourself to see where this person's coming from because maybe you're the one that's wrong.
A demon is not a fallen angel. The statement was made in the movie that that Satan took 1/3 of the angels and brought them down to earth because he was kicked out.
Now, what he's speaking of, and by the way, I don't know what that means by at the bottom that mega boss. I have no idea what that is. But this particular person who calls himself doctor, so I don't know if he has an actual doctorate. Nowadays, people have doctorates, but they're not earned doctorates. They didn't write a particular paper to receive their doctorate. They didn't spend time in some sort of rigorous institution, academic institution, to go deeper and grow in the scriptures. I have no idea, so I don't know. But what he's doing is he's giving a review as onto this movie, Deliverance, that everyone is talking about, whether to go see or not go see. And so that's the movie that he's speaking of. And he's going to tell us why he's making his statement as he goes into the book of Revelation.
And that they are now demons that are in the earth. None of that's true. Now, let me explain to you why. I know you've heard the scripture, so let me explain to you where that comes from. It is a misunderstanding of the book of Revelations. In the book of Revelations, it is actually chapter 12, Revelations chapter 12. In Revelations, it says that Michael and his angels are warring against the dragon and his angels, and they are kicked out. Satan does have influence over 1/3 of the angels, and he pulled them. Hear me good. This is very important for us to get. All right? But that hasn't happened yet. That's in the book of Revelations. It hasn't happened yet.
Well, a couple things as he's making his statement about Revelation, and some are going to comment on the fact that he's using the S at the end of Revelation, making this Revelations not a big deal. I'm not going to worry about that. But as John is writing, what are the things that John is writing about? The things that have happened, the things that are happening, and the things that will happen. And so you're going to see in this narrative, when you're going to see what John is speaking of or being shown, he's shown things that have happened, things that are happening, and things that must take place. And so sometimes when you talk about things that are either happening or must take place in the future, you at times have to also reference what did happen. He seems to not think about that as he's reading Revelation.
That is going to happen during the tribulation period. If Satan has been kicked out of heaven, and I want you to think about it. If Satan has been kicked out of heaven, then why did he have access in Job, the first chapter, when the sons of God came to speak with God and Satan came also with them, if he had no access?
Now, let's go and look at this passage in Job. Let's also go back to Revelation as well, but let's go to Job first. Now, as we look at Job 1:6, it says, "Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them." Now, here's the question, and some make the statement, I'm not necessarily making this point, but I just want to make this point known to you, that when it says the sons of God, some don't take this as to be actual angels. It could be, maybe not. But the point is this, that I want him to know, that this was in the past. And the question is, where is this taking place? And Satan also came among them, and the Lord said to Satan, "From where did you come from?" Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "From roaming about on the earth and walking around it." But it does not tell us exactly where this is taking place. And so we should not jump to the conclusion that this is in the heavenly of heavens. This is in the place where only the Lord can be. I would not take it as that, but then again, that's what he's taking it as. But then we go back to Revelation chapter 12, verse 5. Tell me, is this a an event that has happened in the past, or is this an event that is yet to happen? He's speaking about this woman, and it says that she gave birth to a son, a male child, who is to rule all the nations with a rod. Now, who's he speaking of? This is obviously speaking about this woman being Israel and the child being the Lord. Is this a past action, a present, or future? Well, this has happened in the past. Then the woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared by God. Now, that's going to be in the future, but certainly having a son, that part is clearly in the past. And so you can speak about what's going to happen and what has already happened all in the same breath. And so because this is in Revelation, doesn't mean that everything that's being spoken of or brought up as a point of reference is something that is going to take place. To bring up something that's a point of reference, it must necessarily be something from the past.
Revelations 12, verse 7. It says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Watch this. And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. Stop. Michael and his angels fights against the dragon and his angels. The dragon does not prevail. And now the 8th verse says, and they were not found any more in heaven. That's the future.
Are you sure that's the future? Well, here's how we know it's not the future. Because again, we've got other passages that speak about the devil being cast out of heaven. We see that in Isaiah, but even also we see Jesus make this exact same statement. Jesus says, notice past tense, in Luke 10:18, he says, and he said to them, I, that's Jesus, was watching, past tense. This word here, ephemeron, which is past tense. It's the imperfect. And so this is something that happened in the past. I was watching Satan fall from heaven like lightning. Past tense. When did this happen, sir? This happened in the past.
That hasn't happened yet. How do we know that? We can simply say that from Job, the 1st chapter, because Satan has access. If they were found no more in heaven, would he have access? Because he still has access now. Now I'm going to show you why he has access in just a second.
Now he's going to make this, he's going to try to make his point. And in making his point, I want you to listen closely to what he says. He destroys his own argument in the point that he's trying to make.
Okay. Now, we're going to verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Stop. They were cast out with him. Have they been cast out yet? No.
Yes, they have. Here's the question. If they're going to be cast out in the future, the word that's used here in verse 9, deceives, is in the present active participle. And remember, Peter says, what? The devil is roaring, walking around like a lion. Is Peter saying that this is happening in the future or in the past? This is him not even being aware or being oblivious to other passages, because I don't know if he's just trying to make a particular point or not, but he ought to go and consult other texts.
They haven't. They haven't. Let's look next. All right. So if they have not been cast out, and notice what they're called, because the word demons is not found in the Bible at all. I told several preachers this, and they debated with me until I told them, find it. You can't, because demons are not, the word demon is not in the Bible.
Now, this is where your mouth is probably open and you're just shaking your head saying, what? He said the word demon is not found in the Bible, and he spoke to other pastors and he debated them and said, find it. Well, it's not difficult. First of all, let's just look up the word demon. We can pull up the word demon. It's there in English. Well, but Corey, that's the English translation of the word. Well, what about the Greek translation of the word? The Greek translation of the word is daimonu in this case. Here we have it again. Daimonon. Here we have it here in Matthew, daimonon. If we just keep scrolling, we keep seeing this word demon show up. And in the Greek word daimonon, it is still there. daimonion, I'm sorry, is still there in the Greek or the English. So to make this statement, the word demon is not in the Bible. Or if you want to look at the word devil, and it's not to mean the word devil, because we have the same word for devil, debalu, which is in the Bible also, or debalas, where we get the word diabolos or diabolo, we might say in English, but the word devil is there also. So too is the word Hasatan, which is also for Satan. So those words are there. So too are demons. So I don't know what he's getting at, the point that he's trying to make. He is clearly wrong, but he's getting ready to make make an argument that is going to destroy his entire argument.
Devils, familiar spirits, things like that are found in the Bible, but the word demons are not found in the Bible. All right, so now let's look at the next thing. The 10th verse is where we want to go. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser, which is Satan, of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. How can he accuse before our God day and night if he was already kicked out?
Who says that you can't accuse from the earth? How is it you can't accuse anyone from the earth? That makes no sense.
No, right now he's making accusation. It was in the book of Job that he was making accusation. When the sons of God.
So did you already say it? He says right now he's making accusations, and in the book of Job he was making accusations, but you just got through saying that he could only do so in heaven. I'm confused, but he's getting ready to hurt his argument even further. He is literally going to tear his own argument apart. Remember, he said there is no such thing as demons in the Bible, and he says that demons are not fallen angels. Remember that. Demons are not fallen angels, according to him.
God came down to be with the daughters of men. I'm going to give you detail of this. When the sons of God, this is Genesis 6th chapter, when the sons of God came down to be with the daughters of men and found them to be fair, they had children. They are what we call hybrids. A hybrid in this situation is half human, half angel.
How could they be half angel if angels are not fallen demons? I mean, if demons are not fallen angels, they have not come down. This is confusing now.
That's what it is. Even though it's a fallen angel, it's still an angel. All right?
Even though it's a fallen angel, it's still an angel. You already said that demons are not fallen angels.
All right? So now, hybrids. When the flood came and killed the greatest majority of them, because they produced Nephilims and things like that. When the flood came and the bodies died, the spirits could not go back to God because they didn't come from God. They couldn't go back to heaven. That's not where they came from.
But you already said, by the way, he said the flood came and killed the majority of them. You mean to tell me there were some other people that survived the flood other than Noah and his sons and their wives and his wife? I don't know that he actually knows what he's saying. But you're telling us that these spirits are from fallen angels, but it's just confusing. It's confusing. It's unbiblical, and so this is a perfect example as of someone giving us information that we think it doesn't make any sense, and then going back and searching. This is why you need to be careful who you listen to, and then go and vet what they say with the scriptures, like they did with Paul. The Bereans did. In Berea, what do? They went and searched the scriptures to see if what Paul said was so. That's what we ought to do. Now, obviously, what Paul said was so, but what he said, there's a big no. And so for someone like him, people that make up things, leave them alone. If you've shown yourself to be untrustworthy on basic issues, then leave the person alone. It's not about Nephilim. It's not about sons of God, who those are. The point is, he says that demons are not fallen angels, but then he proceeds to call them fallen angels. He says that Satan has not been cast out of heaven yet, but then he goes and gives examples of Satan being on the earth doing something, as though he can't do it from earth. He has to do it in heaven. So he's meeting with God, accusing him in heaven. But we see other places where he actually is on the earth accusing. And again, Peter says that he's roaring, he's walking around. That's right now, like a lion. The devil is here right now. Oh, by the way, who was in the garden? Was that not the devil? Was it not the serpent? Yes, it was. And so him making these statements, they're just ridiculous statements. And so Another reason, another example of someone not to listen to, but then also how it just simply just takes us just opening our Bibles, walking through the scriptures, and seeing how to see what the truth says. Amen.